easy boyfriend and relax. She wondered what city light bleed was. Britta noticed Meredith daily, sitting under a poster of Taylor Swift reading The Giver. Meredith wore khaki shorts that were longer than any teenager should wear, and a white polo that said German Honor Society. Because of course she did. She crouched over a stack of homemade flashcards, her reddish hair covering her eyes. She sort of rocked back and forth, flipping over first one, then another pink card. Wagner Act. Meredith turned the card over and pumped her fist in victory. Britta bet Meredith knew what light bleed was. She switched sofas and tapped her shoulder. Meredith started. What? Huh? She pulled away her noise-canceling headphones. Do you know what city light bleed is? Britta asked. Meredith looked at Britta like she was on bath salts. What? City light bleed. Devoid of city light bleed. What does that mean? Meredith shook her head. No idea. She replaced the headphones. Britta Googled city light bleed, which she should have done in the first place. It had to do with astronomy. With less city light bleed, you could see way more stars. Once Britta's family had gone camping, and she remembered the stars, millions of them, spread like a lace overlay on a black velvet dress. Dad had held her hand and shown her the Big Dipper and her own constellation, Libra. That was when Dad had been around. Now Dad was gone, and there was her mother's new boyfriend, Rick, who was always joking about her tight shorts or how many boys she must be dating, or asking if she wanted a ride in his Lamborghini, and who was the reason she didn't have a car anymore. She needed to get away to someplace Rick-free for the summer. In the past, her mother would never have let her. Britta hadn't been allowed to sleep over at a friend's house until 9th grade, and even then, her mother had called 5 times. But now that Rick was in the picture, it might be different. Her friend Tegan had suggested they be CITs together at a Girl Scout camp in North Florida. Yeah, no. Being in a cabin with 15 8-year-olds was not Britta's idea of a summer vacation. And what if she misplaced one or something? It could happen. Britta looked back at the photo of the lake. This was what she wanted, to hike and kayak and stargaze. Not use chopsticks to check little kids' scalps for lice. Beside her, Meredith said, Works Progress Administration. Britta looked Meredith over, since Meredith was plainly oblivious. Meredith would be pretty if she'd lighten up. They had no classes together, Meredith being a genius who only took AP think tank classes. But they'd sort of been friendly in grade school, when Meredith, skinny and sad-looking, had transferred in 2nd semester of 4th grade. Every day at lunch, she sat alone reading. So weird. But Britta felt sorry for her, sorry enough that once she'd asked her about her book. Meredith's eyes had lit up. It's called Ink Death, she'd said. It's the last book in the Inkheart trilogy. Have you read them? Britta had shaken her head no. Sorry she'd said anything. Now Meredith would think she was dumb. But Meredith had said, Well, you should. They changed my life. That was sort of a funny thing to say. But the next time the class went to the library, Britta had checked out the first book, which had a picture of a lizard on the cover. Meredith had smiled when she saw her doing so. And while Britta wouldn't say the book was life-changing, it was a pretty good story, and Britta had actually finished it, instead of losing it under the debris on her nightstand and returning it unread, her usual habit with library books.